Joining us now, Fred and Peggy Davis are cattle ranchers from Tombstone, Arizona. The entire Davis family lives on the sixth-generation Davis Ranch, 25 miles north of the Mexican border in Arizona. They've been frequent guests here on the John Fredericks Show because they tell it like it is. And I talked to Peggy last night, and I'm like, okay, every time you come on, Peggy, I say, I'm going to go to Tombstone. I'm going to come to your ranch. I'm going to do my show there right from your kitchen. And I never deliver. This year I am.
All right.
I'm coming.
I'll change the sheets. How's that?
Okay. Well, hey, and also you do know I do work for food. So that's, we're on the same page on that. Fred and Peggy Davis. So give us a little insight here. Since the last time we talked, you were telling us that these illegals just pouring over the border every day, unabated, that ICE is doing nothing. The border patrol agents are told to stand down. You're there every day. You see them from your back window. You see them in your truck. What is going on?
Well, what's going on is there's selective law enforcement in this country, and they're just the drug cartels are controlling the border. America really is not controlling it. The drug cartels do, and it's just a crying shame that you got to rely on what I consider a terrorist group controlling your border.
So when you say that the drug cartels are in control of the border, where are our agents, Fred?
Most of them are 25 to 100 miles north of the border. When the GAO did their study on where the agents are, if they're within 25 miles of the border, they're considered to be on the border, which is completely untrue. There's more agents along Interstate 10 than there are on the international boundary. Our congresswoman brought a contingent down a year and a half ago of 22 congressmen and women, and the local guide doubled the patrol along the border itself. And they've only had 2 attempts to drive drugs across there since, and they've turned them both back. It's so amazing that we've been preaching, put your people on the border. They're sick of hearing it from us. We all preach it nonstop, and yet they try it one time and it's a grand success.
So what you're saying is the Border Patrol agents, we have the majority of them, are 50 miles north of the border, and they look at 25 miles as part of the border, so they're already in the country. They're already in. It's not like they're being apprehended as they try to come across, which is ridiculous, right? I mean, it doesn't make any sense, Peggy.
It was part of Border Patrol's written plan clear back when David Aguilar was commissioner of the Border Patrol. When he wrote it, we will protect the cities. We'll put them in the cities. We have seconds and minutes to catch them. When we go to the outlying area, we have hours and days. So those of us either fortunate or foolish enough to live in those outlying areas are sacrificial lambs. If they get us on the way through, oh well.
Peggy, you were saying earlier, and by the way, we're with Fred and Peggy Davis, Arizona cattle ranchers. They're on the front line of the immigration illegal overflow that we're having unabated. You were saying that the drug cartels basically control the border, and what, our federal agents are just hopeless to do anything?
Well, their hands are tied.
Why are their hands tied?
Well, because the administration sends down orders to the Department of Homeland Security, and they're told to stand down, not to engage. Many times they're told if there's not a group of, quote, illegals, just look the other way. It's just a frustrating thing for our agents on the line who are basically told many times just to look the other way.
Stand down.
Right.
Right. So basically, if I'm not part of a group, if I'm crossing into your ranch illegally, and I've got, say, my family with me, there's 4 of us or 3 of us, and it's obviously that I'm not part of a bigger conglomerate, like 20 people. Basically, I'm going to be able to walk in, and if an agent's there, they're going to just look the other way.
Well, probably, but the dynamic is not a family of a few people anymore. those people are already here.
Right.
Most of them are drug cartel related, and if there's 20 of them, they probably aren't going to want to engage either because they're armed with maybe better weapons than we are.
The families, the maids, the gardeners, they're here. Now what's coming is the drugs. And now if the cartel control people just as much as they do the drugs. If you want to come out of Mexico or if you're from another foreign country, you are going to either pay the cartel or carry their drugs for them.
As a mule.
Exactly.
So basically, if I want to get into the United States illegally, and I'm from, pick a Middle Eastern country, any of them, I'm from Libya or I'm from Syria, and I want to come to the U.S. illegally, I can make my way to South America. I can hook up with the cartel. I've got two choices to get in here illegally, smuggled in. Either I'm going to pay them or I'm going to pack their drugs and carry them over.
20 to 50,000 if you're from the Middle East. I think the only people who get to come packing drugs are Mexicans that don't have enough money. If you're from a foreign country, you have to pay money, and a lot of money.
Right. So,
get in.
But if ISIS can fund you or whatever, they can fund hundreds of people in there with the money they're making from oil. They can send any number of people into the United States and no one knows.
Oh, exactly. They're catching them all up and down the border.
And then what happens? They catch him, and then what happens? Because we never hear anything on the news that says, oh, we just caught 3 Pakistanis trying to get in. I think we heard one thing a couple of months ago, and that was it. So they catch them. Peggy, what happens?
Well, they, our prison systems are flooded with them. I mean, we have to have U.S. deputies, and we don't have enough of those. I guess they're
the courts are full.
Right. The courts are absolutely overrun.
U.S. district courts.
And so we need more courthouses. We need more, sadly, I hate to say we need more lawyers because that's,
Right.
Yeah.
Who needs more lawyers, right?
Who needs more lawyers?
When the government sequester took place, ICE turned 3,500 of them loose in Arizona, convicted murderers.
Just turn them loose.
Turned them loose. Open the gates.
Open the gates. Don't know where they are.
Not a clue. And I forget there were like 1,800 convicted murderers in that group.
It's just mind-boggling what is going on.
And now we're getting Syrians to go with them.
Sure. I mean, we were talking earlier at the 6 o'clock hour, which would we for months and months and months been trying to figure out what exactly are the Democrats and the administration's end game here. What's the objective of letting all these people in from all over? We've got a senator, Tim Kaine, might be Hillary's vice presidential pick, good friend of mine. A lot of things he does with him on, Democratic senator. But he's focused on letting in another 80,000 Syrian refugees. I don't get it. $70,000 each. The country's broke. What about us? What about Americans?
That's the question.
It's crazy.
What about
Doesn't
us?
make any sense. What about us? Okay, let me ask you guys a point-blank question, okay? Trump, I think he's going to win. So I'm in the minority. I said he was going to be the nominee before anybody else, before he even announced. I think he's going to be the next president. If he puts up this wall that he's talking about, is this thing even feasible, and could it work?
In places it's feasible, and in places it's needed. I'm sure that once he's elected, he will get with the people who know exactly where it's needed and where it's not feasible. There's terrain where it's just not feasible to do something about it. But a wall is a tool in the toolbox, and you still need agents on the
When you
international
put
boundary.
boots on the ground watching it, if you put those boots down there now, you could change it immensely.
So
Yes.
we could change it tomorrow if we decided to just enforce the
Absolutely.
laws we have
Absolutely.
and dedicate the people. Obama could change it tomorrow. But instead we're doing the opposite.
Oh, he's not going to change a thing, except throw gasoline on the fire.
What's his objective?
Oh, he
Peggy.
wants open borders.
Why?
I think it's a
Destroy America.
It's a global. I think there's just a lot of people out there that don't want America. He doesn't, in my view, love America, and he wants a world government type of situation, in my view. So that's the only thing that makes sense. And you can call it conspiracy theory if you want, but it's really the only thing that makes sense. He's created, an atmosphere where people come here and thumb their nose at our laws, yet they want to throw more laws at them now. They've broken the first one, the first rule. They come here illegally.
So they're already a lawbreaker. Then they thumb their nose at all the other laws. But
Why
then
would they respect that?
then they want to take advantage of our taxpayer-funded welfare system, Obama phone, EBT cards, housing, relocation, shipping them all over the place, schools. So they're here illegally. Now we're going to get them in the military. They haven't even taken the oath to the country. It's just hard to fathom what the heck we're doing.
When you say schools, border town schools are up to 90% illegal coming across the border. We only have one hospital left in Cochise County that has a maternity ward.
All right, let's go to the phone lines. Colonel Mike from Arlington is with us. Colonel Mike, go ahead.
Hey, John, good morning. I'm sorry I didn't get there. The traffic is, I just turned around. I couldn't make it.
Yep.
All right, listen, I just want to say this on the air to these fine gentlemen, the fine gentleman and his wife from Arizona. That,
Fred and Peggy Davis, go ahead.
Yes. I just want to say to Mr. and Mrs. Davis, boy, you people are brave. And I think John is a little bit behind the curve on the immigration, not direct from the wall, but this is a global movement. It's part of a bigger movement with the UN called Agenda 21, and I'm sure you're aware of it. And this is the whole thing. This is why they're crashing Europe. They're trying to do it to us through the southern border. For how many generations I heard in the beginning that your family's been ranching there, and maybe I suggest for you to raise some money is make the Davis Ranch Silverado or GMC truck like the King Ranch for Ford. But listen, when our own government is permitting people that shouldn't be in our country and opening the gates to people who should not be out of jail and leaving our own citizens in jail, we're in serious trouble. I sent John a text. Do you think anything's going to change with Clinton? And I'll take that on the air. Bye-bye.
Something will change, all right, but not for the better, because her agenda is, the same as Obama's, and things will just get worse.
She'll make him look like a piker, I think.
Really?
Oh.
You think she's worse?
Well, I don't know if she's worse, but it's just that you've already got it so bad that she's going to pick up the ball and run with it, and it's going to just be an easy touchdown. They paved the way for her, and things will change, but they're not going to be better.
Absolutely not. All right, I want to get to one other. I've got just about 45 seconds. Peggy and Fred, very quickly, you're in Arizona. John McCain having what appears to be a potentially spirited primary contest. Any chance he gets beat?
There's a chance. Personally, I don't support him anymore, and I did for many years.
But now you're done.
I'm done. It's he's ignored the ranchers along the border since the Gang of Eight bill came out.
Right.
We tried to meet with him ourselves, and he used to, but no, we get nowhere. And the Border Patrol Union endorsed him, and I don't know why. But
the last meeting we had with Senator McCain, he reversed his position on 2 issues within 3 weeks. 180-degree reversal.
Unbelievable. Can Trump carry Arizona?
Absolutely.
Sure.
All right, there it is, Fred and Peggy Davis. Now we're going to go down there, Peggy. I got your phone number. I'm going to come down there. You're going to have to put me up though at your ranch, and as long as you got I can get on Verizon Wireless. We're going to do our show right there. I want to do it right from your kitchen in a big window.
All right. I can see it in my mind.
We're looking forward to it,
Fred and
John.
Peggy Davis, I want to thank them for being with us.